so many people think of food as giving energy to the body, but many people don't realize that digestion is so energy taxing on the body, especially depending on the kind of food. And with all the processed foods and all the toxins that our bodies are perpetually detoxing from at the modern diet, I would be curious to hear your perspective on diet and food intake and how that's related to energy work and what you've observed in your practice.
Yeah. I think one of the hugest things that most people often overlook, especially in both spiritual communities, holistic health communities, and obviously in the modern world itself, is that they really are overlooking what it means to be holistic. What it means to be holistic is that we're trying to approach everything from all angles. So a lot of times, some people are leaving out the diet. Sometimes they're leaving out the meditation practices. Sometimes they're leaving out the sun. Without all these things coming into alignment with each other, you aren't finding that true holistic health, that true path forward. Now, I think one of the most important things that holistic health has been pointing to is the diet. I mean, we are in America. The American diet is the opposite of health. We are eating meat, these fake processed foods religiously. This is every meal, like 3 meals a day, really showing the backwards nature that society is really in. The importance of what it means to eat healthy is mainly, are you actually listening to the body? What health really truly is are you in relationship? Are you in communication with your environment? I mean, what cancer truly is just this miscommunication between cells. Once a cell stops communicating with the other, we consider that a cancer. So if you're not communicating and not talking to the body through its own language, through the nervous system, then you're starting to create these isolations, which we would start to call disease. Now, why is this super important to the diet? Well, it's because the diet has been predominantly seen as our fuel source in which we have these experiences. We're not treating it as food anymore. We're treating it as strictly fuel to our experience. Now, where, a lot of people aren't going to really be able to feel that immediately, it takes time to revert your brain into listening to the body again. What we can do is simple things like let's stop factory farming, like that. Let's stop consuming processed foods. Why is this super important from an energetic level? What you really want to realize is that what is fueling the body is light. This is why getting out in the sun is super important. If you look at it from a cellular level, it is the light energy from the sun and the food that really starts these processes and allows that communication to be, to start being active. It's not the calories, the macros themselves that are, creating this process, but it's the combination of these lights giving us the information to start this activation, to do these things. This the holistic approach. So when you look at food not as just a fuel source, but you're looking at it as information itself, you can really see it from that chi side. You can really see that what you want to consume is what's the life in it, what's the light in it. We're seeing so many times, especially in these American worlds, that we're eating stuff that is, void of life. We're seeing stuff that's void of light. What is this doing to the body? We're telling the body itself that we are in an environment that there is no light, that there is no life. What does this do? Well, the body is so intelligent that it's going to respond appropriately. If you start consuming, artificial stuff, if you start consuming death, well, the body must respond into that case. It will start putting itself in survival mode. It's not getting the nutrients, the proper nutrients that it needs. So when you look at it from that light perspective, from the holistic side perspective, from this chi side perspective, you're now giving the body what it truly wants to be in alignment. This has been a very powerful tool and a change in my experience. Once, I had those feelings, mental type of changes in my experience, when I started to follow these quantum biologies, when I started to follow these natural ways of living, diet's one of the first things that you'll think about. Once I started to eat more according to the natural law of things, I might have started with carnivore, but I transitioned into more of these light, vegetarian diets, these things that are filled with life. And easily I was able to get to these states of realizations, this flow with life to such an extreme just by communing with nature through, one of the main resources in which we communicate through my food system. So what does this look like when you're trying to actually eat it? It looks like a lot of fruit. It's so simple that people are often overlooking it. I mean, I was told this all the time as a kid. An apple away keeps the doctor away. So it's like, why are we not eating an apple a day? Why are we not eating these fruits? These things that are filled with glucose, which is filled with light energy, that are actually communicating to our system that we are in an abundant universe. Seems simple to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, to reiterate that point, I remember one time I looked at some kind of type of photography that looks at the biophotons, and you can like see an apple, for example, glowing with light energy. And it's amazing how this isn't considered so important in our culture. It's all thought of as dead, mechanical in our materialist society. And to honor the light energy within food and the importance of that. Yeah, I've heard, and I know that y'all have too. That the idea that the actual like matter in the food feeds the gross body, but then like the light energy in food feeds the subtle body. So I'd be curious to hear you talk on that just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we're looking at the subtle body, it's a very simplified yet complex system. I mean, you can really deep dive into the subtle body and its energetics. It's as in depth, if not more in depth, than the anatomy of the physical body. I mean, there's a lot of mirrors, obviously, but what's super important to realize is that, like you were saying, the light that you're consuming either through the sun or through the food that you're eating is feeding this light body, this chi body. So why this is important from a health standpoint is that if your energy, whether that be from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a subtle body standpoint, if your energy is out of imbalance, this is where we start considering it a disease, an illness. Some people will even call it chronic illness, depending on the severity of the environment. So from my experience, you can see this to be so clearly accessible to anyone when you look at it from that bioelectrical standpoint. I mean, we call it chi and life force from all these ancient traditions, but I mean, we have the science easily proving this stuff since the 70s, even probably before that, of these bioelectricity that's actually the communicator to the rest of the body. I mean, this is how the nervous system even works. It's through these electrical inputs. And so when you're eating these bioelectrical filled foods, you're gaining that synapses of the nervous systems. You're gaining the energy for the nervous system to create these connections, the neuroplasticity, and all of these great connections for cells that communicate and really change the health of the body. I mean, this is how you actually have an environmental effect on the body. This is what epigenetics was proving to us, that the environment through natural ways can actually get us into a true state of health. Not, these crazy macro ideas of, we have to eat crazy amount of proteins or we have to eat a crazy amount of carbs. It is this true holistic, balanced approach to eating like you're eating for the light body, like eating like you're eating for the natural way of living, is the true way to flow with the chi and actually cultivate your life experience. The more you can cultivate the chi body, the more you can cultivate the energy body, the more you're going to flow with life, the more it's going to be blissful, the more the experiences that you're going to want to manifest are easier to actually create. To me, that sounds like perfect. To some people, this is still like, why should I do this? Why should I go this way? I love a piece of steak. And what I say to most of those type of people is, look, I'm not trying to change your ideas. I'm not trying to change your life. But if there's things that are still holding you back from the life that you want to live, because most people forget that they're only living this life once. If you're still getting held back by these things, why aren't you double checking? Why aren't you questioning what you're consuming? I mean, look, let's first just get rid of these factory farmings. This is actually destroying the light of these animals, of this karmic level of issues in the system. I mean, if we just got people on, farmed, happy cows and pigs, like we wouldn't even have a lot of the issues that we have today. I mean, we got 80 billion plus animals slaughtered a year. Yeah, 8 billion animals for every person. Like, this is crazy amount of slaughter, and most of that is factory farm. Why are we doing that? How did that come to be the natural state of life? Like, where do we think that this efficiency is what the body actually wanted? How is that environment connected to the evolution that we've been seeing through biodiversity after biodiversity, through the histories of human and Earth's evolution?